everyone. It is 8:02. It is time for First Alert Weather Extra. I'm First Alert Meteorologist Jill Gilardi here. We have some better news to talk about, especially beginning late weekend and going into at least the first part of next week. Yes, we do have a warm-up we will get to enjoy, but in the short term, it is painfully cold outside, and that kind of air is going to continue going into tomorrow. It's breezy. It's not crazy windy like it was yesterday, and especially the day before, but nonetheless, any bit of wind with this Arctic air will create that colder feel. We'll see just a brush with snow tomorrow, and then above average temperatures starting as early as Sunday. So we've still got a little ways to go. We're tracking that cold weather, a little bit of a breeze. You can see the wind gusts 15 to as much as 25 miles per hour, and that will be the trend going through the early afternoon before the wind continues to back off going into tonight. Here's what we need to dress for before heading outside, and it feels like it's in the single digits most places. So ranging from as cold as 1 below in Salisbury to as warm as, if you want to call it that, 10 above in Meriden, and same goes for New Haven. Actual air temperature teens to around 20 degrees, which is a little bit below average for this time of year. As we take a look at the feels like temperature forecast for today, inland we'll get into the upper teens for the feel this afternoon. Seeing some scattered clouds developing. That's about it. So brighter skies initially today. Feels like temperature along the shoreline this afternoon, upper teens and lower 20s. So just a touch above that down to the south, where highs will be in the low 30s, inland in the mid and upper 20s, which is significantly below what is now the normal high of 40 degrees. So how long until we get to 40 or warmer? It looks like on Sunday, excuse me, we'll get into the lower 40s most places. Of course, it's always a little colder across the hills, but we'll take anything that's above freezing at this point. Saturday looks great, so the weekend outlook looks fantabulous, we'll call that. We'll make up a word. How about that? All right, tonight, another cold night. Single digits and lower teens. We'll start off partly cloudy and end up mostly clear. Tomorrow, we start off with bright skies, another chilly start, and then it's going to be feeling in the low 20s to mid-20s tomorrow afternoon. Notice the clouds will really quickly thicken up, and we'll be watching for a chance for a little bit of snow shower activity tomorrow. But here's the big story, the feels like trend. So another sub-zero start to the air, feel to the air tomorrow morning, but then we trend upwards, and especially by the weekend into early next week, things get so much better around here. So right now it is absolutely bright and beautiful in terms of our sky conditions in Windsor Locks, 20 degrees there. It is breezy though. As we take a look at the live view in Torrington, a few clouds, no big deal, not enough to block that sun. Also seeing similar sky conditions in New Haven, where it's 20 degrees there. A few high-level clouds in New London, 19, and the west wind at 10. So some high-level clouds mixing in down to our south. These clouds will continue to develop as we get into the afternoon, as we can see according to First Alert Futurecasts. And then those clouds that develop will fade away as we get into tonight. So diurnally driven, which means driven by the sun, and the reason for them developing. Now, as we head into Thursday, the reason for the clouds developing is because we have an upper level system, a little disturbance, a little energy to pivot through, and then we have a bigger area of low pressure that's going to stay well away from us. So that will create the lift for the clouds to develop, and maybe enough lift and moisture where the snowflakes form for us to see a few snow showers developing and actually reaching the ground. Slightly higher chance, as you can see, as you get closer towards the shoreline, into a southeastern Mass especially, but then by Friday we're bright again. It'll be chilly out there, but that low's not taking a track to give us a snowstorm here, but close enough that a couple of features will help for the air to rise and for some snow showers to develop. Best chance for a little accumulation is going to be across the southeastern Mass, the Cape and the Islands, or a few inches can't be ruled out there. Notice those lines kind of circulating around the low. The closer to the low you get, the stronger the winds are, but nonetheless, the lines get a little packed together. So there's still going to be a breeze out there as we settle into Thursday into Friday. But in terms of winter weather, the closest advisories and warnings, things like that, would be down towards, Delaware. But we do have that wintry weather. It's been occurring across even northern Missouri, northern Alabama into northern Georgia. But the winter storm warnings in pink, and that has been from anywhere from Kentucky to parts of West Virginia into even the Carolinas and Virginia. So we're going to be missing that storm system. And as we take a look at your First Alert 7-day forecast, our big story is the cold weather initially, and the temperature is finally warming up. So we get rid of that Arctic air by the weekend, and look at next week. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Mid-40s, upper 40s, near 50 degrees by Tuesday. And overnight lows will be warming up above average, so it's going to get kind of muddy going into next week with a lot of melting expected. But at least, you know, you can start to get out and maybe go for that walk that you've been kind of just holding off on. It just hasn't been enjoyable to be outside for very long with these kind of cold temperatures, and especially that wind. That always is the kicker there. And here's a look at the forecast highs along the shoreline as we look forward over the next 7 days. So again, changes heading our way. Yay! So we got to get through 3 days of this cold weather before we finally start to thaw out. Take advantage of it, because there's some indication of beyond that 7-day forecast of perhaps below average air moving in, which would mean below the normal high of, say, 40 degrees. So it doesn't mean, you know, another Arctic blast necessarily, but we'll look deeper into that for you, of course, and we will talk more about that coming up at 9:30 on our next First Alert Weather Extra tonight. So definitely set the reminder on your phone and get a more in-depth look at the forecast. So, all right, everyone, stay cool. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk more with you coming up later on.